Hi, Darren Latchner here from 365 Assist. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Microsoft Teams Chat to fill out a form that produces information that goes into a Word document template, and that document will then be created within your Teams channel. So let's take a look how I did it. In brief, the way this works is you would go into Teams and under the posts of that channel, you create a new conversation. I've created a magic word, and that magic word in my case is new contract. You could use whatever word you wanted, but new contract. When that person types that in, then that goes and creates what they call an adaptive card within Teams. So this is where the user can put the information that I've set up, the information that's wanted for what's needed in the contract, and they would type all this in, and this is the stuff obviously that's going to turn up into this is the stuff that's going to turn up into the document that gets populated within the template. Just put in the details here. Suburb 1, and even I can, in the adaptive card, I can do a drop down and then submit that, and then that goes away and does a Power Automate flow that's taken the template that I've created and creates a Word file, and the file is going to live in the team, the channel on the team under Files, and there it is there. Now I've called the document 4 and whatever the company they put in and the current date. So when we open that document up, you will see that the information I've put in is now the address of that. So that's an example of populating the template. So let me go through the steps of how I built this. So the first piece is obviously the easy bit, which is the team, and there's a channel. Nothing special there, there's nothing really in it. Under Files, in my case, I've created a folder called Template, and in that template I've added a Word document, and that Word document, I'll show you what I've done. This is some of the tricky bit. You have to do this in a Word app to create the fields of the template where it goes. So in here I've created a field on this document. This field's called customer name. Then I have one street, suburb, and state. Okay, and I've got person here as well, which is the name of the person. So the way these are built are very easy. What we do is we would go into, I'll just show you an example here. You need the developer tab first, which is this tab up here. If you don't have the developer tab, then you need to add that in to your add-in, to your menu options here. And to add the developer tab into your options, you go anywhere in your current tab, right mouse click, that's right mouse click, and then go to customize the ribbon. And down here on the right here, you should see a developer, and it may not be ticked. If it's not ticked, then tick it, select it, and click OK, and then you'll get the developer tab. Now within the developer tab, there's just a couple of small things. We're not going to go through everything, but the small thing that you need to worry about is using this plain text control. There is a rich text control, but we're not going to use that one. We use the plain text control, and that creates the field there. Then we go to properties, and we have to give it the name. So we might give it, as I said there, the street, and I like to give the same thing as a label as well. And so that will just create the field there that the automation knows what to pick up. The next step is to create the Power Automate flow. So obviously you go to your Power Automate, make.powerautomate.com, and you'll create a new flow. I've got mine here, so I'm just going to step through what I used to do this. So this is what it looks like. It's not very difficult. So the first, the trigger that I've created, instant trigger, when keywords are mentioned, and I've used the channel, that's the magic. The next one is the keywords to search for, which is the magic term you want to create. New contract, it needs to be something like a single word, that it's looking for that word. I wouldn't use a word that you think is going to be used within a chat usually, because it'll kick it off if somebody puts that word. I just wouldn't put contract, for example, as the word. So pick something that's unlikely to be typed into a normal conversation, pick the team, and then pick the channel, right? And that's the trigger. So the next step is the post adaptive card and wait for response. That's the next one you want. You post as a channel, you post it in the channel, and then this is the message, which is JSON, which I don't know how to code this, and I wouldn't expect many people to know how to code this. You don't need to know how to do this. What I would suggest is go to a site called adaptivecards.io, and that's where you can start to learn how to build these. It's basically doing it by drawing and dropping. There's a nice designer there that gives you some and has some samples in it that you can use. The designer has an example here of how to build this basically, and it builds the code for you. It's a separate video, separate research. I'm not going to spend any time on there, but that's how you would do this adaptive card. Then you want to populate the word template. So the template that I just showed you, I built in Word. This is where you would use the population for it. So where's the location? Right, it's in my group. The documents, the file, what's the file? And it will come up with those fields that we create in the Word document will come up along here, and you can then match them up with the fields that are being captured in the post adaptive card. That'll match up here. So company, so when you click on that, and if you've done your adaptive card correctly, you'll see the fields available here, such as company. It should be here somewhere. You'll see, there it is there. You'll see that there, and you can pop them in there. Then you need to create the file. It's in SharePoint. I know it's Teams, but it's going to be SharePoint file. Find the location, give it a name. I've given it a name like this, document 4 company name, and I always like to, for my purpose anyway, for testing, put a UTC now. That way you don't have the problem of stepping over the same file or trying to replace the file because it uses a date time stamp on the file name, will always be unique. And then put the body, the file contents, which is the body of the Word template. And then make sure it's switched on, give it a test, and it should work.